Welcome in to Puff City. All right, hello PFL land. Welcome in. Taco here. I wanted to go over a quick topic that I usually talk about a lot on stream. So make a little video that I can just reference instead of going over it kind of on repeat. So I wanted to go over it by using one of my first horses, Sableye. This was the second horse I raced. The first horse was kind of like no thought to it. I put it in an 8 furlong race. It didn't matter what the weather was. It was the best statted horse for that distance, and it just beat everything. So that horse, I just got lucky. I didn't have to think about. This was the second horse I got though, which required a lot more thought process. So I want to talk about ML. ML is one of the first things you see as a new player. It's very confusing when you look at it at first and you want to relate it to like regular horse odds or just, that it's taking into factor everything that you're seeing in the race and it's giving you an accurate measure. And that's not the case. And I'm going to give you what my opinion of what ML is, and then I'm going to include below some links to other articles on ML that other people have done. Because the way PFL works is nobody is right or wrong. What you need to do is take all the information, find your niche, and use that information to become as good as you can at that niche as you can be. Um, so what I notice here when I start with this horse is that the first race it goes into, this maiden, it's a 12 furlong yielding maiden, and I have the best ML by a lot, right? So this is first season I'm racing. I don't understand what it is. This blind carbon copy horse wins. This ends up being a very, very good horse. Um, but I'm sitting here 722 in a 12 furlong race. So my brain is immediately thinking, okay, hey, I probably have a marathon horse. I talked to some friends. Some of my friends were like, hey, don't put it in another one. If you think it's that, go the opposite direction, see what happens. So I go in a 7. It wins the 7. I go in a handicap, comes second out of 12 in the handicap. So at this point, knowing what I know now, I would actually understand the horse very well. But at the time, I had no clue. After these 3 races, you can see it has a decent heart and a decent temper. It definitely has a decent temper compared to the horses it was racing. A lot of people are breeding for heart. So if you just have a little bit of temper, you're usually good in handicaps. You don't need like an overstated heart. You just need an average. I'm sorry. You just need an average temper. You don't need an overstated temper for handicaps. And you'll see in the handicap, which takes into factor more of the temper of the horse, you'll actually see that I lose quite a bit of ML to blind carbon copy. And we can look at blind carbon copy now too, which is pretty cool. It's not yet retired. I thought it might be, but when this does retire, you will, in my opinion, see that it has a little bit higher of a temper than Sableye does. So the thing to look at though is basically, let's look at this next stakes race, right? So this is an 8 furlong. We're still top MLing. So whether we're in a 12, whether we're in an 8, well, one of the weather was fast. This weather was yielding. Let's go and look at a 12 furlong soft, right? And our ML, we are now second best ML. Big Oats was one of the best horses of this time, though, so this is a pretty tough comparison. Um, and now we're still one of the best. You can see how this horse is just trumping these other odds, by the way. So what I think ML really means and what I think it's important to understand is when you look at this, you're seeing that the horse has the best ML odds, whether it's in a 12 furlong race, whether it's in an 8 furlong race. The only thing you're seeing finally affect the ML of the race is the weather going all the way to soft. At yielding and fast, my fast horse held the best ML and it didn't really change. And no matter what the distance is, the horse's ML is going to be consistently good because of the stats of the horse. It just means the horse is a plus statted horse. When you go to the end and you reveal the horse, it's going to be a plus stat product. You can actually see this is insanely good. It's +3. It's 1 stat away from being an A. So it's like as good as it gets. So that's why no matter where I put it in, there were no horses that were even beating the ML. So ML was making me think my horse needed to race a certain distance, but what it was really telling me is, hey, you've got a great stat product horse. You just need to figure out where to race it and what kind of distance and then what kind of track it wants. Does it want soft? Does it want yielding? Does it want multiple? Like it ended up wanting like yielding and good, it really preferred. Um, but the main thing to understand is it doesn't mean it's a specific distance. It doesn't mean your horse is, terrible just because you see a bad one. You have to understand the other horses in the race. If there's a really good horse in that race, like you saw Big Oats, I'm no longer the best ML. Big Oats won like multiple championships, has like 50K Derby plus earned. It was like, I mean, I called it winning championships on Making the Grade. So like it's I purchased horses off of them having a comparable ML to the horses that were the same age and championship horses, but the one horse that this horse had raced, that best horse was there, and it was barely different on the ML. So I really think that's what it means to me. It's helped me a lot, especially when I go to the marketplace and I purchase horses. Let me give you a great example of that. There's one race that this horse ran that made me purchase it, and it's this race right here, this 6 furlong race. It doesn't remember it. The ML doesn't mean it races the distance. It just means you have a great stat product. And 26 Ghost, I already knew was the best horse in existence at this funnel. It still is. Period. Like to right now, it still is the best. And my horse was not getting trumped. My horse was right there, competitive with that ML on a sloppy track. So it's going to be taking into, the stars accurately. So, I then purchased this horse, threw it into the other distance, and got lucky. So ML is a lot, ML can really help you when you look at it in a general light. It's not giving you specific information. It's giving you a general, you know, picture of the level of your horse, the stats of your horse, and it's for you to understand what was bred into it, where it's going to race, what profiles bred into the horse, and then that tells you what distance you race. The ML does not. The ML just gives you an idea of general stats and what you need to do from there. So, a little bit longer than I expected to go, but I think I did a really good job explaining exactly what I've interpreted ML as being. And hopefully that helps. So, until next time.